I want to talk about Moonlighter 2: The Endless Vault. I hesitate to call this a review since the game is still in early access, but I do want to give an impression of what I experienced so far to give you a chance to see if it's worth your time and money to buy into it right now, or if you should just wait for the full release. I don't believe anyone should spend money on games that are still in development unless you actually really trust the developers to follow through and actually finish the game. So honestly, just wait and watch videos and hope the game comes out soon, because you never know if they're going to pull the rug out from under you and leave the game in limbo. But I really love the first Moonlighter, and I don't think this developer would do anything like that. I hope. So Moonlighter Endless Vault is the long-awaited sequel to the original 2018 game, which also saw a change from the charming pixel 2D art style to a more 3D overhead approach, more in the same vein as a game like Hades or Bastion. Although I do miss the original design, I don't hate the new direction that they're going for. You'll find that Moonlighter 2, although different in look, still has the same gameplay loop as the first game, which I think is great because the gameplay loop of collecting artifacts in dungeons to then sell and buy upgrades and then beat the boss is fantastic and doesn't need any real changes. So the story continues after the end of the first one. You'll reprise the role of Will, the merchant adventurer from the first game, who finds himself as well as his companions in a new village called Tresna after losing his original home to an invader named Moloch. As Will, you have to rebuild his shop to earn money to gain a wish from a mysterious vault that shows up out of nowhere to hopefully return home someday. To accomplish this, you'll have to jump through a portal to a different plane of existence to raid the dungeons filled with treasure and varied enemies. You advance through these planes on map nodes which have different events on them. So far from what I saw, each plane has 2 different combat perk nodes that have their own theme, like thunder and fire, just to name a couple. These have a chance to upgrade your combat abilities or other mechanics of the plane, like traps and things. My favorite so far is the thunder perks, which allows you to build thunder charges, which when full sends a bolt of lightning down onto every enemy on the map, which is always fun. There are also unknown event nodes, which I think only has 2 different events so far that I've seen. And then we have the chest nodes filled with different relics for us to gather. The blacksmith that upgrades our weapon, and a mini boss in the middle, and a big boss at the end. Touching on the combat really quick, you have 4 choices of weapon types: the short sword, the great sword, spear, and gauntlets, each with their own special mechanics revolving around a basic and special attack. And each of those weapons will get 4 different variations with a new special mechanic to it. You also get access to a gun that recharges when you hit enemies, and so far there are 3 different types of guns you can pick from once you find the recipe for it. So combat just revolves around your basic, special, dodging, and also using your backpack against ravaged enemies to knock them into traps or off cliffs. In each dimension, you'll usually face off against a few different types of enemies, meaning you have to take the time to learn their mechanics and to figure out how to tackle them, especially when they show up in a large amount of numbers. Then there are the bosses, who are completely different from one another in each dimension, which is fantastic. I've so far beat the first boss of each dimension, and I really enjoyed the varied mechanics that each of them had, providing a skilled aspect to the game. Moving on, for each dimension there is a special minigame mechanic for collecting relics. First off, relics come in 5 different rarities, and each of these relics have a quality measure appointed to them that can be changed with certain effects. Using the Day Realm dimension as an example, there are certain relics that can burn other relics, and some relics can provide armor instead. We'll also find higher rarity relics that have even more special effects that can either boost its own or other relics' qualities if you can proc its abilities. So don't think collecting relics is as straightforward as just picking things up and hoping it's rare. You'll have to plan your setup in your limited backpack space to hopefully boost the quality of relics as high as possible before you return to town. When you do get back to town, the first stop should be your own personal shop. This is where you can sell relics you find to accrue money to buy upgrades around town. To sell things, you have to place a relic on a pedestal and and then decide the price for it. Depending on the price you put, your customers will provide an emote for you to see that denotes whether that price you put is appropriate or not. A super angry face that shows the item is overpriced, a face with gold coined eyes to show you underpriced it, a slightly unsatisfied face but the customer will still buy it, and then the simple happy face meaning you hit the sweet spot. All these prices will show when you list items, so you don't need to remember every number, making it easy to repeatedly sell things. To make things more interesting, there is also a perk system that you can unlock that provides different effects depending on what you choose. And of course, you can also upgrade and change the decoration of your store with special furniture and other things. You'll find in the village there are a lot of different stores for you to spend your hard-earned cash. I'll be honest, I think everything is really overpriced right now, and I feel like they can reduce the cost of certain upgrades a bit. But you have your blacksmith to upgrade and unlock weapons and armor. You'll have the witch to provide buffs to your potions and healing. There's a gunsmith, a guy who sells patches they can stick to your backpack for different bonuses, someone who can unlock more space in your bag, and a few other merchants and friends who can make your life easier inside the dungeon with various other perks and benefits. So if you ever find yourself struggling to progress through a boss, then hold back a bit, collect more relics to sell, complete the vault quests if you can, and buy the essential upgrades that can help you survive your encounters in the portal. That's pretty much everything that's in the game so far. Again, it's still in early access, so they're still coming out with more bosses, maps, and upgrades for you to farm and explore. The story will eventually be updated too, which I so far find pretty interesting. So I like the game. I love the shop management aspect. The combat is competent. The combat perks you can get really make a portal run unique with their own special effects. As it is still early access, again, I don't recommend buying it, but if you really enjoyed the first Moonlighter, I think you'll enjoy this one. $30 is still too much for me to recommend, but if you find it on sale or you can wait for the full release, then I think it's absolutely worth your time. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. My name's been Suka. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.